Hello, I'm Dr. Amber Love Johnson, and this is the EduCurious Podcast, where we highlight exceptional educators and dive deep into complex issues. Today, we have two special guests. We have Jon Corippo, creator of EduProtocols, and we have Julie Huggins, who's organizing this upcoming Legoland Florida takeover, which I'm super excited about. Jon, welcome to the show. I'm really excited to have you.
I'm so excited about the EduProtocols meeting up with the EduCurious. Because I use that as a catchphrase all the time. If you're EduCurious, I have some stuff for you.
Oh, yes, and then people are like, "What is that?"
I feel like I'm a
Anyway,
matchmaker right now. This is perfect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're vibing already. We're only 31 seconds into our relationship.
Oh, yes. And I'm sure I'll see a lot more of you when we're at Legoland, and I'm excited, but really and truly, I would like to sort of promote your company, your EduProtocols, because a lot of people have heard it, but they might not
Mhm.
know what's going on with it.
Right.
So just give
Right.
us the overview of what it is and what's your role in it.
So way back in 1998, I became very EduCurious about whether I could get my students to turn in their homework more often. And I used to use a grading package that was on a floppy disk, those little things? And it was Easy Grade Plus with if there's anybody old enough to remember that. And what was cool on Easy Grade was every time I would grade an assignment, it would give me a little bar chart. And it would show me how many kids got A's, B's, C's, and it would have a percent of the average class score. And I was like, I I keep teaching and the average keeps being 78%. And I'm like, could I do better? And that's the EduCurious part. Like, could I change the way this works in such a way that the students naturally have a more successful outcome? And so I did some wild experiments. I made things so easy. I said, let's see if I can make it so easy that everybody gets an A. And it turns out you cannot. Because in middle school, there's a certain amount of kids that don't care no matter what you do. You could literally give them a $1 bill and they wouldn't care. And then I realized that when there were less things getting turned in, it was because I didn't explain myself well enough. It wasn't that they couldn't do the work. It was that they didn't know how to start the work. So this led to a whole series of experiments, which led to Fast and Curious, which Fast and Curious actually took almost 7 years to become fully fledged. It was from 2001 until 2021 when I fully maxed it out. So what I did, and you're going to love this, Amber, we would do the big Latin roots quiz, right? Latin roots, I'm a language arts teacher. And when we would get to the final, it would have like 70 questions. And how did I do it in the old days? I would pass out the practice words on Friday. I would spend 20 minutes. I'm going to use my background to advantage. The next Latin root to write down on your practice quiz is us. O-U-S. Write that down. The day was fabulous. Bro, it would take me half an hour just to give them the words. So what I started doing, no lie, Julie, I did this on Scantrons.
Oh,
They came in on Monday. I gave them the whole test on Monday. And the kids were losing their minds. They're like, it's Monday. I go, let's be honest. You ain't going to study. Let's go. Are you going to study? And they're like, no. And I go, so here's the test. And then what I would do with the Scantrons is I could quickly find out what the 15 most missed words were. Because here's my logic, Amber. If the whole class average is 40 on Monday and there's 60 questions, I got to get everybody 15 more that they can get without practice. So they came in on Tuesday, another bank of Scantrons goes out. Wednesday, we've been studying just the 15, not the 60, because the 60 feels overwhelming, but 15 I can do. Guess what we did Wednesday, Amber? You're right. We did it again. Thursday, we did it again. And Friday, the lowest score from my resource student in the entire class was 84%. And I went, oh my God, this works. So I bumbled along with that on Scantrons and multiple choice tests through the early 2000s. And then this is some real lore for you, Julie. I was doing a 2-day PD in 2015. So this is like 14 years later. And Socrative now exists. You guys, this predates Kahoot. All right. And so what I did was a dirty trick. I put 11 Latin roots in a Socrative multiple choice, which, as you know, I love the Socrative short answer. Their multiple choice is not that spectacular, but I gave English teachers 11 Latin roots. I said, you guys want to do an experiment with me? Let's do 11 Latin roots. And they got rocked, Amber. They got rocked. They got 3 right out of 11. And I was like, oh, you said you were good with Latin roots. And they're like, yeah, but we don't know these. I go, these come from the University of Michigan. Latin root aug, A-U-G. What does it mean?
Change.
See? No. Latin root tors, T-O-R-S. What does it mean? Like Amber's like looking it up. So
I'm not even going to
tors.
say something because it's not going to be good.
The ELA teachers got rocked because I was off the reservation with non-routine Latin roots. By the way, tors means to twist, torso, torsion bar. Aug actually means to turn, like the auger that feeds your ice cream into the cone. Auger.
Wait. So change would work. Change, turn. No.
Possibly. If you write a sentence, why? I'll take that.
Stretch.
So I go, you adults with bachelor degrees just got a 3 out of 11. Do you want to go again? And they're like, hell yes, we do. So we went again and we got average score of 10 out of 11. And I said, congratulations, you're at 91%. Do you want to go again? And they're like, yes, we do. And so we did 3 rounds. And on the 3rd round, only one person missed one question, and they got thoroughly roasted by their peers. And then I said to the group of teachers, I said, what's your takeaway? And they went literally like this. You didn't do any lecture. And I go, I know I didn't. And they said, we didn't do any worksheets. And I said, I know I didn't. And they said, we didn't write any sentences. And I said, I know I didn't. And I go, I think you guys are missing the biggest part. You know what the biggest part is? And they went, what? And I said, that was 12 minutes. Total elapsed time, 12 minutes. That's how it got named the fast. And the curious part is there's no warm up. We just let it rip. Because I've learned this from video games, because we've all played a video game at some point, whether it's Candy Crush or Call of Duty. What happens on the first round? You get whooped. And then you roll up your sleeves and you're like, okay, stupid game, it is on. And so, Amber, what I realized is we can bring that aesthetic to the classroom. And now our SPED students and our resource students are able to be their best selves. Because here's what I tell resource teachers all the time. Do you want to play that kid in Roblox? You do not. He will gut you and not apologize because you're in his world now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Fast and Curious has evolved because now we have the big evolution for me was in 2021 when I realized that one platform, I'm not going to say the name, but it sounds like Sayground. Yeah. That one platform is very good, except the kids only do one question. So if I give them 15, they only do 15. So I started experimenting with Blooket and Gimkit, the same quiz where they'll only do 15 questions in that other program, because I don't want to throw them under the bus. My kids were doing 60 and 70 reps in the others because it's unlimited. My SPED student, who everybody told me would do nothing, completely wiped out my entire class on a 60-question Latin root quiz. He did 136 reps in about 12 minutes. So he basically took the quiz 3 times and missed exactly 5, not in one round, 5 over 3 rounds. He was a freaking machine. And I was like, oh, dude, this is a thing. I gotta show people this. So that's the vibe, Amber. What do you think?
I am intrigued and I feel like you figured out the magic hook. So that's awesome. And in your own words, tell me what EduProtocols is, because in my
Oh,
mind, when
yeah,
I
yeah,
first heard it, I thought, oh, is it like a new curriculum? But it sounds
yeah.
way, way, way different than that. So tell me.
So I'm gonna throw some things out so people can with their brain they can grab onto something. Venn diagram. What subject, Amber? Any grade level, right? Think of Kagan structures. Now, I like Kagan structures, except for they have two weaknesses. One is Kagan is not set up for tech at all. Kagan is paper or bust, and nothing wrong with paper, but we're teaching modern kids, right? The other thing with Kagan is they don't really tell teachers how much and how often. So, like in EduProtocols, we're going to tell people, you will do this 3 times a week. You will do this every day. You will do this every week on Wednesdays. So we're very prescriptive about the volume and when the feedback it happens, because I've seen plenty of Kagan teachers, they do one double bubble a year and then say, that's good, I do Kagan. That ain't going to get the job done. And we actively train teachers. Most of the protocols, you won't even see the kids' best work until the 3rd or 4th rep. So think of them as lesson frames, and you can change the picture. The double advantage to the teacher is you're lowering your prep. So I'm going to make Julie into a bio teacher, and this week she wants to teach Van Leeuwenhoek and the history of the microscope and cells. So all she's got to do is grab an article from Amplifier Benchmark or the Interwebs or Scientific American and send it as a series of protocols. Next week, you know what we're doing? We're doing cell division and replication. She just pulls up another 3 or 4 articles or readings, sends it. Exactly the same plan as last week. And then the next week, you know what we're doing? We were switching over to plant cells, which are your cellulose-based wood cells. Boom, same lineup, just change the readings. So the kids keep getting better and better. Like if you're a workout person, we have leg days, we have arm days, we have core days, we have PR days, and we have warm down days. And in the protocols, you just dial up these different things, but it's like coffee, right? How often do I have coffee? Every day,
Go on,
sometimes
daily.
twice. Sometimes I have more sweetener, sometimes I have coconut milk, but it's always coffee. So do you just take that kind of mindset to your lesson planning and it becomes quick and easy because you go, I need to do this. Now I'm going to stop for a second because I want to listen to Julie tell you a story about when she got shoved into subbing one day. And how did it go?
Oh, well, first of all, it went fantastic. Might not have started fantastic because, you walk in and you realize that kids are off task and not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or you realize there was no plan for them to do anything anyway. So you have that moment of, oh dear, what am I going to do? But what John's referring to is once I became introduced to EduProtocols, is this my opportunity? This is my chance to go in, get my feet wet, and to get some reps myself, but also with the kids. And what I learned very quickly is that when he talks about any subject or any grade level, and you're just pulling a resource that you already have and you're adapting it to these protocols because they're lesson frames, they're these structures, your prep time is very minimal. It to the point where, like, again, I was walking into classes to sub, walking in to support other teachers, and on the fly coming up with the next thing the kids are going to do. And then the other piece that is they build momentum. The
Mhm.
speed at which we are doing these protocols to get these reps in. You don't go, I'm going to go back to your gym analogy, John. You don't go to
Right,
the gym and just do bicep curls for the next hour and a half. Okay. You
right,
go to the gym,
right.
and even if it's arms day, you're working your triceps, you're doing your biceps, you might be doing some presses.
Got some
And
lat
so you
pulls, you got to
build
develop those shoulders.
you're doing these different structures in the gym. You're doing these different protocols in your classroom, so that you're maxing the students' interaction with the content. And
Oh my God.
also,
Hold the phone. I should have named it Edumaxing.
to maxing. There you go. But you're also building momentum. When I get through my bicep curls, I'm like, okay, what's next? I can still do this, like you're still feeling
Yeah.
good. By the time you get
And
to
then
your third ones, those lap things, whatever they are, I don't even know. I'm like, bring it, because I want the
Mhm.
full extent of the workout. I want to press myself. And so you really see that momentum build with the kids. And so even on the fly, this is something that's totally adaptable, totally doable. And the more kids work with these protocols, the stronger they get, the more confident
Mhm.
they get, the more excited they get to do these things, and
And
they
you
look
know what
forward
you
to
start
it.
seeing? You
What?
start seeing the same kids that are playing football. You start seeing the same kids that are cheerleaders. You start seeing that same aggressive, high interest engagement
Mhm.
that the coaches are getting every single day in practice, because those kids know they're getting better and they know that they can handle the competition. And in protocols, what happens is kids have never been used to getting better. This happens all the time, Amber. I walk into classrooms and kids go like this: "Hey, I'm getting better." They're not used to actually growing. And it turns out that when you make school into a game where you can actually get better, it's kind of addictive. And then your classroom management problems disappear because we're going up tempo, right? And you can literally just walk into class and go, "The link is up. Let's go fast and curious. Do that." You come out of that and you're like, "Time for a thick slide. Read that article. Give me 4 facts, 2 quotes, a picture. Get ready to present." Swing out of that. Let's do a sketch and tello. Read this article. Draw the 8 pictures. Make your notes. Go, 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 go. And you're not having to drag them anymore. About 4 months into it, people will say, "It's not just lesson plans. Like it's a different vibe. It's a
Yeah.
different feel of teaching." And I mean, I'll use a food analogy. How demoralizing must it be to be a cook at Denny's? You don't get to invent anything. You can't go to your boss and go, "Hey, boss, could we put some of this seasoning salt on the fries?" He's like, "Dude, shut up and do it the way the book says." And kids kind of have to live through that. And when we show them there's the ability for them to invent things and create things and show me things, oh, it's empowerment. And that is gold, because once they're empowered, dude, I can do anything with them.
It's taking what teachers are already doing because they're the master at their craft and almost adding like a gamifying component to it. So kids can expect, like they see that pattern and they know we're doing this now and I'm excited and I'm going to win it.
The immediate feedback is everything. There's
Oh, yeah.
tons of teachers that will do a Gimkit or a Blooket or a Kahoot or whatever, and then they don't even look at the scores. And the kids are like, "Well, why should I even play?" So they don't get better, and you're back into the circle. When we teach, at the end of the work, everybody has to share. There's no popsicle sticks, there's no random everybody has to share, but like we have a protocol called the Iron Chef lesson. At the end, every team has to share, but they get a minute and a half to share. And that way, I'm saying to them, "Julie, that your whole group, that's an A. You rock the house." And then I could go, "Amber, it's not an A today. How about I tell you what to do to get an A tomorrow?" And they're like, "Yeah, what do we do? What do we do?" Because they love the real time attention. But I believe a lot of the behaviors that we're seeing in middle school and high school are actually teenage loneliness. And when you ask every kid to tell you one thing about the slide they made, they see that as affection. I
Yeah.
mean, for me, it's just a process, but the kids read it as validation, feedback. I saw a stat somewhere that said the average high school kid spends about 25 minutes a day with their parents. We have them for 6 hours. And when you see them, they respond.
I would agree. And I was going to add, the other piece is that it puts students at the center of their learning. So
Yeah.
they're the ones doing the work. So when John's talking about, genuine excitement to share out, this is what they have done. This is the
Mhm.
meme, the picture, the quote, the facts that they have chosen. It's authentic to them. And I think that's the validation piece. And you're talking about the
Yeah.
loneliness, the wanting to belong, that they're contributing something, they're getting that
It's
immediate feedback.
meaningful. right?
It's
It's not
meaningful
just
to them. Yeah.
performative sharing, it's meaningful sharing.
Yes.
And probably one of the worst things the publishers have done to us that is kind of the underpinnings of this student disaffection for the work is we tell them what's going to be in the story. We make them write notes what's going to be in the story before they read the story. So they're like, dude, why are you even reading this? So my thing is, I just throw stuff at them and say, tell me 4 important facts. And they're like, how am I supposed to know it's important? And I'm like, bro, that's the game. The game is for you to tell me why that's important. And just like Julie said, the ownership piece becomes really important to the kids because they're saying things like, no, 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 this part's important because, and the other kid's like, oh, no, no, no. And I don't have to set it up as a debate because I haven't kind of poisoned the well with my perspective. I had my kids reading, my 6th graders, we were reading the Gary song from SpongeBob.
Oh, yeah.
And I love using songs like that because you should see them smiling. They're like, oh my God, we're doing the Gary song. They're getting these 4-year-old and 5-year-old flashbacks, but that song's by Weezer and it has awesome lyrics. So we're breaking it down. And I don't know if you guys are SpongeBob aficionados, but there's this one part where Gary the snail runs away. And so SpongeBob is chasing him down, and it's very melancholy for SpongeBob, who's usually a happy dude. And when we said, what was the inciting event? What incited Gary running away? Half of the class said SpongeBob was mean to Gary because he wasn't eating his food. And immediately, the other half of the class was like, no, Gary was being a bad snail because he wasn't eating his food and SpongeBob was holding him accountable. And you should have seen the discussion that was happening because kids knew it was a safe place to learn. They knew that there wasn't one right answer. Their job was to explain why they had that opinion. And it's straight up goosebumps from a silly SpongeBob song. But guess what happens 2 weeks later? We're reading The Little Prince, and now we have a context for inciting incident that is very personal to each kid. And you're not going to get there with a boring PowerPoint and a lecture.
And you guys get
But
to meet in like 10
Yeah.
oh,
days. You
yeah,
get
yeah,
to
yeah.
meet in
You're gonna
person.
live it. You're gonna live it, EduCurious,
Okay. I'm
Amber.
excited.
You're gonna live it. One of the things you're gonna really like about the Academy, which I'm sure Julie's told you, but I'm gonna be a third-party verification here, is we're gonna make you do protocols. We're not just gonna tell you about them. You're gonna do them. And that's important because you need to feel the energy of being a learner.
Well, Julie made me do it when we were doing PD the other day, and I got
Good.
so excited that
Mhm.
I cleaned house. I was second, and I didn't even know
Yeah.
what on earth, how to make the
Yeah.
program work. I'm just like, I'm winning. I was so excited, and I don't really normally get that
Right.
excited
And see,
about stuff. I was like, yes.
but by the 5th or 6th round of doing that, you'll be a wizard. You'll know all the little nuances. You'll know how to run the store. You'll know to anticipate things. Like one of my favorites, Julie's, is there's always a kid that goes shopping right at the end of the game and spends all their money. So they move from like 1st to 5th, and they're like, "Why did I lose?" And I go, "Bro, you went shopping at the end of the game. You got to keep that loot. You can't go shopping right at 12 seconds to go." And they're like, "Oh, I never thought of that." But there's all these layers involved. Okay. So good to meet you, Amber. And I can't wait for round 2.
So I have big questions for you. How did you and Jon Corippo meet and
Yeah.
like connect and get excited about EduProtocols?
Tina Markley, who is the academic dean of our reading department, through post-COVID world that we live in, was looking kind of for survival tactics. And we know as educators that the world changed with COVID and our learners definitely changed. There has been a lot of discussion on will we get back to the way things were or not. But in the meantime, teachers had to adapt. And that's one of the best things that teachers do is we're able to adapt. We are flexible. And so Tina was doing some research, digging around, trying to figure out, how do I survive? And she stumbled upon EduProtocol. Immediately, you feel Jon's energy. Immediately, she's hooked. Takes it back to her team. They start start with one protocol, then two, then three. Now they're racking and stacking. And from there, it kind of grew. So 2 summers ago, she and her team come to me and they're like, hey, we're going to go to an academy. We want you to come with us. And I'm like, sure. Like, I love to travel. Like, you guys are a great group of women. Let's do this. I know zero about EduProtocols at the time, but they're excited about it. And 'cause, you've met me. I'm excited if you're excited. So I'm like, yes, let's do this. So we get on a plane. We go to Notre Dame, where they're hosting an academy, and Jon opens the academy. And 30 seconds in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think 2 days is going to be enough. I need to know everything there is to know about this, because he is right when he says you live it at one of his academies. You live these protocols. So he's dropping us into protocols. He's hitting us with the science behind it. All the pieces are clicking. And when you look at curriculums, which this is not, or you look at professional development, and this is so different, it doesn't usually click in the first 30 seconds. You usually go home and you think about, like, what are my takeaways? But I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, like, this is incredible. I have never experienced something like this. So he wraps up his thing, and I think maybe we have breakfast after that, or I don't know, maybe we went to a session, and a little bit later we all meet back up. And I'm like, ladies, how cool would it be if, like, not just the 5 of us could experience this, but if all of our teachers could experience this? So I walk up to Jon and I say, what would it take to get you to Lake Wales? And from there started our partnership. He has been out to Lake Wales High School several times. We've done a variety of different programming and activities with him so that our staff can experience EduProtocols in ways that they're comfortable and in ways that meet their needs. Because just like when we're talking about learners, we know that everybody has a different set of needs. So whether you are in a literacy strategies classroom like Tina and her team, working with our lowest group of learners, or you are an IB teacher, you have varying needs, but you deserve high quality professional development. You deserve someone who can work with you to strengthen your craft. And so Jon's come out a bunch of times to work with our teachers in different capacities. He has done everything from classroom takeovers, where he's come in and he's walked into a class, and just like I was describing with subbing, he starts teaching for the day, and our teachers get to see what that's like. He has met with teams of teachers, content specific, to look at their current curriculums and say, okay, how do we EduProtocol this? How do we take what the scripted curriculum is and make this meaningful for students? He was talking about before they read the story, they already know what it is. The curriculum says you're going to talk about the title, you're going to read subtitles, you're going to come up with a set of questions before, all of these pre-reading things, which are great strategies. But also, by the time you get to the actual reading, our kids are gone, right? They've tapped out, they're done. And so working with our current curriculum to update it and to EduProtocol it. He came out at the beginning of the school year with a team, and they did a road show. And so we spent an entire day in breakout sessions working in the different protocols. And that was really exciting too. So teachers could feel that energy, so teachers could experience what their kids were about to do before the year got started. So it's been this very organic kind of process, starting from one teacher and growing across her team, across content areas, our school. And now we're pretty excited to bring it to our district and really to Central Florida. So continued conversation Jon and I have had throughout our working partnership, and is what's next. Everything that our teachers have done with EduProtocols, they have been so excited about that they have knocked it out of the park. And so I keep coming back to him and saying, okay, what else? What else? What else? And so the idea to host our own academy in conjunction with EduProtocols came from that what else mindset. How do we continue to take it to the next level? Because not only are our kids excited, but our teachers are excited about this. And so he said, you start hosting, you start presenting, you become the model. And we looked around and said, wow, actually, there's an opportunity here in Central Florida. If you want high quality professional development, you're headed at least to Orlando or to Tampa. there's nothing happening here. And we know Polk County is booming. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the nation. We have families, which means we have students moving here in droves. We can't build houses fast enough, it seems, which means we also have educators here who are dedicated and who are excited and who are shaping, these students that are in their classrooms, and they deserve the opportunity to experience really world-class PD. Jon is based in California, but he travels the nation and the world. He's worked in Egypt and Morocco and other places abroad where he's brought EduProtocols. And so this is a great opportunity for teachers locally, but also on the East Coast to experience EduProtocols, because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get an experience.
I'm excited to see Jon in person coming up really soon. It's something that you've planned, that you've put together with Lake Wales High School, and drum roll. Tell me about this takeover.
Lake Wales High School, in conjunction with EduProtocols, is hosting an all-new EduProtocols Summer Academy at Legoland, Florida Resort. So we are so excited for this opportunity. When you think of learning, you think of students being at the center of their learning. You think of students playing to learn. And so this pairing of EduProtocols at Legoland is so perfect and is going to be like no other professional development experience that is out there right now. Our attendees are going to have the opportunity to actually have their professional development in the theme park. I know, right? So we have worked really hard with Legoland Florida Resort to come up with creative spaces that allow our attendees to immerse themselves in the learning, in the protocols, while they are inside of the theme park. And again, the brand Lego and the idea of learning through play and the idea of student-centered learning with EduProtocols is just a perfect pair. And we are so excited, if you couldn't tell.
How do I get a last minute name on that sheet to get in? Say I am a Lake Wales Charter School employee or an outside public school employee. Where do I go? How do I do it?
The opportunity for Lake Wales Charter employees is pretty special. So this is an opportunity for our teachers to become teacher leaders. So half of the presenters at the Academy are part of Jon's team, or are people that are very popular. They have a very robust Facebook group where educators are sharing all the time. But then half of the presenters are also Lake Wales High School teachers. So this is an opportunity for teacher leaders to be developed, but it's also, as Lake Wales Charter employees, it's an opportunity to attend high quality PD for free because our district is committed to vertical alignment. And so we are working, instead of being a system of schools, we are going to be a cohesive school system. And that is something that our superintendent is really committed to. This is an entirely free opportunity to Lake Wales Charter employees. If you are not part of Lake Wales Charter, but you'd like to be, we're always hiring. We are committed to recruiting and retaining incredible individuals. But if you are not currently part of our team, there are still spaces available, and we'll share out. It's on our Facebook as well as the district website, but also in the EduProtocols Facebook group. There are links for registration and for payment. So for the 2-day event, it is $399, which is unbeatable. It gets you fed on both days. It also gets you theme park access as well, and PD hours. So it's a really incredible opportunity for those who are not part of Lake Wales Charter as well.
So tell me the dates and what to expect when I make my way down the hot parking lot towards the entrance of Legoland.
Absolutely. This academy is happening June 3rd and 4th. So it's coming up very soon. But again, there is still an opportunity to register for the event. And we would love to have you join, or anyone who's interested in joining. They can also reach out to me as well. But what they're going to experience, they get to see Jon live and in person. He will be kicking off the event in the 4D theater at Legoland, in the center of the heart of Legoland. So we'll gather together. He's going to kick it off, which is going to be super exciting. exciting. I anticipate we will all be protocoling from the first moment. So he always puts us to work, which is really fantastic. And then you have the opportunity to break out into 8 sessions over the course of the 2 days to pick and choose which protocols you'd like to learn more about. We have a bunch of sessions happening day 1 for anyone who is brand new to protocols. Anyone who is like, I feel this energy, I'm excited, or I want to try something new, or my bestie is going, so I don't want to miss out, to learn what EduProtocols are. And then we have specific EduProtocols. The really cool thing about all of these sessions is that none of them are subject specific. None of them are grade level specific. And that's one of the beauty of EduProtocols, is that they truly are, like Jon said, they are these lesson frames. They are these structures. They put students in the middle of their learning. They are backed by science, things like ipsative learning, that really, truly learning is a process. It's about progress. It's not just about getting that A. It's about working towards mastery. It's about it's about growing through the learning process, and then closing that feedback loop as well. And one of the really great things that Jon was talking about is there is a gamification piece to it. That is the world that we live in. And so the use of AI, the use of online platforms, or the ability to also go paper, because all of these protocols work on paper as well, is truly unique. And it's adaptable to, again, any content area, any grade level. And so you get to pick and choose what sessions you want to attend. And there are some really, really cool ones. There's everything from math small group EduProtocols to racking and stacking. If you are a pro and you're ready to put one protocol on top of another and build out your lesson plans, there is the opportunity to work with sources, to excite students about writing. There is just, we run the gamut of different options. You have the ability to attend 8 of them over the 2 days.
If I'm a super brand new teacher, I can
Yep.
find something that fits, or
Yep.
I'm on year 32. Like, there's
Yes.
everything, and I
Yep.
don't need to be
And
scared. I just need to be ready for
no.
some fun. Now, earlier, you and I talked about that key word, which we're all feeling right now, which is burn out.
Yes.
Give me that little pep talk of why my first few days of summer vacation, I should be showing up here, because I'm showing up, you're showing up, John's showing up, and I'm excited, but it's like also that grueling time right now.
There's a saying, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So let's finish strong. The best way we can prepare for next school year is how we finish this one. Additionally, EduProtocols, their kind of tagline, their motto is to work less, teach better, and achieve more. And sitting here year 3, Lake Wales High School has demonstrated not only significant growth, but sustained growth and achievement over the past 3 years of using EduProtocols, of implementing them and seeing them spread across our building. So really, again, set yourself up for success to teach better, work less, and achieve more. That's the solution to burnout right there, right?
I'm like so tired. The year's almost done. I could go in a year from now after using Edu protocols.
Yeah,
I might be like feet up going, that was easy. Look how much better I did. So like I can think about, okay, I'm tired now. Let me focus on a year from now using
yeah,
a new process in my already like day that I'm used to.
yeah. And one of the beauties, again, we talked about the gym analogy and the reps at the gym and lifting weights. Um, and the great thing about this is that through these lesson frameworks, through these structures that are EduProtocols, your students pick up more and more of the weight. So over the course of the week, the month, the year, you are doing, as the instructor, less of the heavy lifting, and your role is shifting from the star of the show, the sage on the stage, to the facilitator. So you're going to be able to go home and be less exhausted throughout the year so that you're not going to get to this point next year and feel that burnout. Now, that doesn't mean we're not all excited for summer, right? We are. But the cool thing is that you are going to be able to see not only are your kids moving up, but for particularly our lowest 25% or even our high achievers, you're going to see them move out onto new levels as well. And that has been something that has been a game changer at Lake Wales High School. And so I would encourage you to take the time now to prepare for August to get yourself excited about what we do. This is truly the greatest job on earth. I am excited every year for the new opportunities of the year to do it all over again. And that includes the good, the bad, and the ugly of it all. It is such a special job that we do. And so take the time now to make it even greater. Take the time to invest in yourself. Take the time to reinvigorate yourself, because think about how amazing you're going to feel going into summer with this type of energy. Saying, I cannot wait for August. What a different narrative that is for ourselves than to say, oh, we're already in July. Oh, it's July 4th already. Summer's almost over, because like here in Florida, sometimes that's how it feels, right? Like, what if you could take this excitement and be like, oh my gosh, it's July 4th already. I can't wait, because that means we'll be back in less than a month. Like, that's the kind of opportunity that we have if you choose to attend. And we would love to welcome you. So
Well, challenge accepted. I'm going to work on that mindset. That's such a great shift. So, thank you. Your energy is infectious, contagious, all of the things. And it's always fun to talk.
seriously, though, you are going to have a blast. You are going to get the opportunity, again, to experience these EduProtocols, these lesson structures and frameworks. And the way that it is presented, the way that it's structured for educators who attend the academy is such a unique experience. So just as you would teach your students, you're not going to jump right into content. You're going to start with a smart start. You're going to be laughing. You are going to have inside jokes with the person next to you because of the work you worked on. You are going to be singing because you're going to have songs stuck in your head because they introduce you to the framework first. Then they layer in the content. And that's exactly how you'll do it for your students. So if you're going to have this much fun learning these protocols, think about how much fun you're going to be able to take back to your classroom because you get to do the exact same process with your students. So before they start stressing about did they get an A or do they have missing assignments, they're going to get to see a different side of you. They're going to get to laugh with you. And we know laughter is so powerful. They're going to build trust and relationships, all of those things that we know are really important to learning as well. And then you're going to start with the content. Then you're going to be able to get really deep into the learning, but you've already set them up for success. And so you're going to be set up for success the exact same way at the academy. So get ready. I'd say buckle up because you might even ride a roller coaster.
So, whether you're a teacher, a parent, or just EduCurious, join the community as we explore various educational topics and learn from each other. We'll see you next time.